Is it light good?
Okay, yeah, it's good.
Wait a second, please.
Is it light good? Yeah, I think light is good.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah, it's good. Just give me 1 minute. We're just setting up the links. I'll be with you in 1 minute.
Okay, don't worry. Okay. I'll take a glass of water, please.
Okay, I think we're just about ready to start in a few minutes.
Okay.
Just in a couple of minutes. Waiting for the links to go around. You must have had a very busy day today.
Today it's very, very busy. All day, and those days are very busy, really.
Really?
Yeah.
Let me put my headphones on. I'm getting reverb. Yeah, you must have had a very, very busy day today. Was it hot? What's the weather like there?
Yeah, it was very hot, really. Today, 35 degrees, maybe. I didn't see
Really?
on the application because I didn't have time to see. Really, it was very busy.
Okay, so let me just put my volume up. Okay. Okay, good. So let's begin. Are you ready, Brother Ahmed?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalam ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Just like to welcome everyone listening as part of a special Friday Circle event with myself, Babar Ahmed from London, and I'm joined by Imam Ahmed Hrustanović from Srebrenica. For those people that are new, the Friday Circle is a small community group in South London. We've been having circles in a masjid in South London for I think, 30 years in the same community. And we've stopped temporarily because of the coronavirus, but we've gone online. So we are hoping to, we've just been doing various events. So we're joined by people from different parts of the world. If you're here, then just send a message and on Facebook or YouTube, just tell us where you're listening in from. We will have opportunity to listen to take some questions afterwards. So we are gathered here today because starting tomorrow is the 25th anniversary of the Srebrenica genocide, which took place in Bosnia. Bosnia is a Muslim country in Europe. It was part of the former Yugoslavia. In the 1990s, there was I don't like to use the word war, but it's the only word that people understand. I'd like to use the word genocide. Terminology is very important. People refer to Srebrenica as a massacre. A massacre is what happens in America when one crazy guy gets a gun and he goes and shoots like 20 people. It's sad, it's horrific, but it's not genocide. And Srebrenica was not a massacre, it was a genocide. Genocide is something on a completely different level. In the last, Srebrenica was Europe's worst atrocity since World War II. So I think we've, Imam Ahmed, I think we've lost your video. I think when you moved your screen, so we can't see you anymore. So just if you could just connect back. Yeah, if you could just connect back when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm here.
So, okay, that's it. We're back now. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not going to talk too much. That's a problem that I have. I talk too much. We are very blessed and we are very honored to be joined by Imam Ahmed Hrustanović from Srebrenica. He's had a very busy week and he's had a very busy day today because he has just come literally a few minutes ago from a special ceremony that takes place every year in the Potocari Memorial Center. I was in Bosnia. I've been to Bosnia many times. I went there many times during the war. But last year was my first visit to Srebrenica. I took my 3 teenage nephews and my brother-in-law, and we had a Bosnian brother. He joined us, and I went there and saw for myself. I had read about Srebrenica. I had watched documentaries. It featured in my case. I was in Bosnia a few weeks after Srebrenica happened, maybe a couple of weeks after it. I was in a different area.
Mm-hmm.
But what I saw last year, seeing what I saw last year, was completely different to anything that I had heard. So Imam Ahmed is joining us today, and he'll be talking to us about his personal experience, because personal stories, they bring to life what we may have just heard of. So I want to start by first of all welcoming you, Imam Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam to you and to all of your brothers there and all who are listening.
Thank you, brothers and sisters who are listening to this event. And thank you so much for your time. You've had a very busy week and a very busy day and time, and we're honored that you were able to join us. There's some people who wanted to join us, but they are in time zones who they are asleep now, but they have promised to listen to it when we put a recording of this on the internet. So without further ado, I want to start by asking you a little bit about yourself. Tell us about yourself, how old you are, how many brothers, sisters you have, how many children you have, what do you do, and where did you learn English?
First of all, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you, with people in UK, and that's very important for me really to my voice can be heard there, and I'm very, very happy for that. In the beginning, my English, I think that it isn't so good, but excuse me for my mistakes, and I hope so that will be not very big problem. As you said, my name is Ahmed Hrustanović. I am 34 years old. I have one brother, one sister. I have a wife and 4 kids here in Srebrenica, alhamdulillah. And I'm Imam here in Srebrenica for almost 7 years. And that's all for my biography. If you need biography, if you need.
And where did you learn English?
I don't know really. I learned in primary, secondary school, and college here with people mostly, and nothing special. I think it's understandable. That's the main point.
So, is it true that every year at this time, Srebrenica has a lot of visitors from around the world?
Yeah, that's big true. You have to know that Srebrenica is a small city in eastern Bosnia, and very small city, especially after genocide, because we have about 300 or 400 people lived here now. But before genocide, it was around 36,000. But now it's only 3,000 or 4,000. When July came, a lot of people come here from all Bosnia, whole Europe, whole world, really. Srebrenica was full of people, but this July it's completely different because of coronavirus. As you said, it's everything changed.
So what is the current population of Srebrenica is about 3,000 or 4,000. How many of them would you say are Muslims, and how many of them are other religious groups?
I would say maybe more than half are Muslim right now, and another half or less are Orthodox Serbs.
Okay, I understand. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to ask you a little bit about, I want to go back and we want to talk a little bit about you and your story. And I understand that some of it you have spoken about before, some of it may be a bit uncomfortable for you, and anything that you're not comfortable, you can share as much or as little as you like. So first of all, tell us about your childhood. Tell us about when you were a child. What were your dreams, your ambitions for the future? Yeah. What did you want to be when you grew up? Did you want to be an Imam? Was this like your ambition? Did you want to be? Tell us a little bit about your childhood.
I was born in Srebrenica, in a small village called Miholjevne. It is about 30 kilometers east from Srebrenica, near border with Serbia. And it's very, very small village, really, with only maybe 150 people. My childhood was very nice and beautiful, with all those memories with my father and my grandfather and uncles and another relatives. It was really nice place in woods, in very nice nature. We had lived with nature, very nice nature, with very beautiful animals. We had sheep, we had cows, we had horses. It was like fair story, It was a really nice, really nice life. And my father and uncles, they have been working in some area in Yugoslavia. They didn't always be at home, and they missed me a lot before aggression and genocide, especially after. And as I said, it's a very small village, very beautiful life, but someone came to destroy it, and he succeeded, and he.
So this village that you are living in. So all your family and your community, like your uncles, cousins, everyone was in that village.
Yeah.
I mean, not everyone, but most of them.
Yeah. Most of them were in that village. My uncles and brothers from my father, and the next village was near my mom's village. You know, it was very near from my father's village, and another relatives were there in my mother's village. It was a very small community, really, and in very nice nature, and people were very kind and very beautiful. It was very nice life, as you said.
So what were your dreams for your future? When you were a child, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Only wish is for me, it was to be with my father, really. I don't remember any another wish, because I want to be with my father. Wherever father go, I want to go with him. When he was back from work, I want to be with him all the time, but that was really impossible. But my father loves me a lot. He loved me a lot, and he he tried to take me everywhere with him, and it was very big love between me and my father. And as I said, I was a kid, and I was 7 years old in 1993. I don't remember that I had another dream, really. That's question. Nobody else asked me that question, but really, when I'm now remembering, I see that only wish was to be with my father, really.
Tell us a story about your father, something he used to say to you, or something he did. You told us he would take you around everywhere. Tell us a little story or something that shows us the personality of your father, or maybe something that he said to you that you remember.
My father was very good with he was he could make everything by his hands, you know, from woods, from paper, from I don't know any. He made me toys, and he was very special, because he knew to build everything from any material. Really, it was he had hobby to make me toys, to make toys for my sister, and he was builder. He was builder. He was building houses, and he was good with woods, as I said, and he tell me very nice stories before sleeping, and it was normal childhood, and in that time, like everyone else had in Bosnia, really.
So then in 1992, you were 6 years old.
Yeah.
And your whole world, it changed.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about how the war affected you and your family in that, because Srebrenica genocide happened in 95, but the war started in April of 92. So
yeah.
Tell us a bit about your memories. I mean, obviously you were a 6-year-old boy, 7 years old. Tell us a little bit about your struggles, your hardships, how the war affected your family, yourself and your family.
I remember those days that it was full of fear, full of story from World War II, and we were very afraid, really, about what will happen there, because some old guys talk us about World War II and tell us a very horrible story that what happened then, and they tell us that Chetniks that were Serbs will come and kill us all, and we were very afraid. We ran away from our houses to because everywhere around our village was a wood, and we ran away in wood. We make some small houses in woods, in forest, you know, to to go there when we saw that someone will came or to kill us all. And as I said, it was very, very terrific. It was difficult for me, and I was a kid, and I remember shooting. I remember shells throwing down from everywhere, and I asked my father, "What is that, Father?" He said, "Don't worry, my son. It's just celebrating someone. Someone. My battery is 20%. Someone was
celebrating. You said that
celebrating marriage. Marriage, yes. He wants me to be calm down, and I didn't worry so much when he said that, and but I was suspicious. I saw that something else is something very strange happening in the air, and then came a lot of refugees from another villages from Srebrenica. That those villages were very near to border between Serbia, and I remember that our small village became crowded with people, with cows, with other animals, and that refugee bring with them, and then I saw that it isn't a normal situation really. And in 1993, Chetniks came on one point near my village, and they were able to put shells, tank shells on my village. And I was yesterday in my village, and I saw one house that first shell hit in that house. I remember that, and when I saw that, I immediately knew it that we have to go, we have to run away from our village forever. It was very sad for me, and we released our animals, our cows and dogs and sheep and horses everywhere. We released them because we were afraid that Chetniks will kill them all, that will put fire in our stables. And then in March 1993, we came to Srebrenica. As I said in the beginning, it is 30 kilometers.
How did you go from your village to Srebrenica?
We go by feet.
You walk?
We walk, yeah.
Okay.
And I remember that when we walked, we have to sleep in one part of wood that it was with the river, and it was very cold in March 1993, big snow. Yes. And I remember when we slept in forest that my father bring some woods to put fire to heat us, and he spent all night to make fire to heat us. We slept a little bit, then early in the morning, immediately after Fajr, we start to go.
This was only your family, your mom, dad,
no.
other sister, or there's a group of you? How many of you were there?
It was all people from all village.
Okay.
From all people from village, really, you know.
Okay.
Not big group, really. It was a very big group.
Okay, so March 1993, you left your home behind.
Yeah.
You did not know what's going to happen to what you're leaving behind, and you did not know where you are going to, what is your future, and you're
Nothing.
a 7-year-old child. And you know, people maybe in London, people may not relate to this. Maybe if people have dogs, they can relate to it. But when you work with animals, they're not just animals. You develop relationships with those animals. I remember in Pakistan, every time Eid al-Adha comes, and we become friends with the goat, and when it comes time to slaughter the goat, we don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So you must have. Were you also sad at some of the animals that you're leaving behind? Not just because they're your like work animals, but they're like your friends. They're your.
Yeah. they were part of our families, really. I remember my mom, years after, she was talking about our one cow, and she said it's it was like she was crying, our cow. And that was very remarkable for me to remember. And I remember that moment when we released our cow. And it looked like she's crying, really. And we have, as you said, we have connection with our animals.
Yes.
And we were very sorry to release them. We didn't know where they will go. And we after that we knew that maybe Chetniks will take it to bring in their homes to sell them, or maybe it happens that they kill it, even animals, really.
Well, if I just want to share a story. I know this is about you, but just to tell you, we're talking about animals. So in the summer of 1995, I was there in Bosnia, and at that time, there was a lot of military operations that took place north of Zavidović,
Yeah,
Doboj,
yeah.
and these
In
areas.
September, yeah.
And the whole summer there was operations there. So one brother, he told me the story that when the Muslim fighters, when the Mujahideen, they came to a village, and there was a horse there that was being used by the Chetniks.
Yeah.
So one brother, he's from Saudi Arabia, and he speaks Arabic. So he does a horse. He went to the horse, and he starts stroking the horse on his mane, and he's speaking to him in Arabic, and he's saying to him that you used to be horse for the Chetniks, but we are soldiers of Allah. We are Muslims. Now you're going to be a horse for us, and you're going to be with us. And he said the horse, it began to cry.
Yeah.
The horse,
Very
it
nice.
began to cry.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you arrived in Srebrenica, and you tell us what happened when you arrived in Srebrenica in March 1993. There's lots of refugees from different villages
Yeah. Yeah.
around the world. I mean, not around the world, around the villages, around the
Yeah.
areas. So tell us what happened. Tell us about more what happened after you reached Srebrenica in '93.
It was terrific and horrible to see that moment. Srebrenica was full of people. People put fire everywhere, on street, in houses. It was full of people, and when I came, I saw it was very cold. As I said, I saw a lot of people on street, sleeping on street, and um, I saw fear in the air everywhere. Every time, even now, when I smell plastic burning, I remember that moment in Srebrenica. Every time when I feel it, even now, as I said, I remember that time when I came in Srebrenica. It was horrible, really, and we didn't have place to sleep. We didn't have anything. We didn't bring uh, almost nothing from our village. Uh, and my father and my grandfather had some relatives here in one village near Srebrenica, and we went to them. And in one time, in the house, in our relative, with our relatives, it was in one house is with two levels. It was about 50 or 60 people.
Wow. And I've been to Bosnia. I've seen the houses there in
Yeah,
Srebrenica. I've seen them, the two-story houses made out of wood, and they
yeah,
are very small. So there's 50 or
yeah.
60 of you staying there. How
It's
did you eat? What did you do for food?
we didn't have anything to eat, really. We didn't have anything to eat. It was a March, and you didn't have anything in nature to eat, because we lived with nature. But that time, it's worst time to you, because you cannot find any food in nature. Uh, I don't know. we didn't have anything to eat really, and people eat those part of corn that left when you take those small seed, and people even eat wood, for it was very, very difficult, and we didn't have salt, we didn't have oil, we didn't have nothing. We didn't have anything.
So what type of things would your father say to you at that time in order to encourage you and to uplift your spirits? What type of things would he say to you?
He was saying to me, "Oh, don't worry," and the most important thing is that we are together, and when we are together, we will figure out something. We will find something to eat. We will go to ask people to give us something to eat. Just it's very, very important that we are together, all together. My mom was pregnant, and we stayed in Srebrenica only 1 month, and after a big massacre happened on the play yard in front of school in Srebrenica, somehow I really don't know even now how come that we left Srebrenica in April 1993.
So that massacre that took place, so Chetniks, they had entered Srebrenica. Srebrenica.
No. They entered Srebrenica in April 1992 up to May 1992, and they put fire in a lot of houses.
Yeah.
And in those houses were old people, and they burned that people. They put chemical in that houses to poison that old people, because they didn't be able to run away. And that massacre in April 1993 happened in front of school, on the play yard. They put shells from tank on that play yard, because it was in that time Srebrenica was bombed from planes, from hills, by those things. I don't know, because I didn't go to army, and a lot of shells come down on houses and buildings, and it was 12th of April 1993, and that day was very calm, and a lot of people went outside to walk, to see sun, to speak with each other, and young people and kids went to that play yard to play football. And I don't know, it was maybe noon or before noon, I really don't know, when four shells, 4 grenades fell down on that play yard and killed immediately 70 people, 70 young boys and girls. And after late that day, 30 of them died. It was terrible, and it was very terrific to see that. I was my place, because after I left that house from my relatives, we find a small room near school and near that play yard, and I saw everything on what happened in 12th of July, really.
And there's no, I mean, if people are not even eating, then there's no medical, like, there may have been some nurses, there may have been some people who just tried their best, but really they couldn't do anything.
Yeah, it was, you couldn't do anything, really. It was, I don't know, how come that nobody wants to help us in that time. And those United Nations guys came, and they forced world to give us protected zone of UN, but it was unprotected zone, really.
It didn't mean anything. I remember that.
Yeah.
I think from that time, Garage Day, Srebrenica, many different, like some of the cities, they declared safe zone, protected zone
Yeah.
for 3 years. And all that meant was that the Chetniks could not come into the city, but they did not stop the shells and the tanks.
Yeah.
That continued throughout throughout those that time. So tell us about those 2 years now. So you left in April '93. Then after that massacre, you left. Where did you go?
Yeah, I left. It was our luck to left Srebrenica, really, because you didn't have chance to leave Srebrenica. If you were lucky, you will leave, because only maybe 10 of those truck of United Nations came, and several times they came in Srebrenica, bring some food, and when they are turning back to Tuzla, they put some refugees inside. And if you are lucky, you can go inside. Maybe in one trunk, maybe, I don't know, 50 people can, you can put it. And we came to send, Mom came with us to send her friend to Tuzla, to help her to get to the trunk. And I saw my father is coming in front, and he asked, what are you doing there? Mom said, we want to help this my friend to go to Tuzla. And he said, no, you have to go. It was a very quick decision of my father, and he immediately.
So I can just, just so that I understand. So April '93, after this massacre happened, then you, your mum, and was it your brother?
Yeah, no, my mother was pregnant.
Okay, so it's your mum and you,
And sister, yeah.
And sister, mum, you, and sister. You managed to get onto a UN truck to Tuzla.
Yeah.
But dad, grandfather, uncles, they all stayed behind.
Yeah, they all stayed behind. Even my grandmother and a lot of relatives. Only my mom and my sister and I, we left Srebrenica with some another relatives.
So what was that? Was that the last time you saw your father then?
Yeah, that was the last time that I saw my father and uncle and my grandfather. And
did you know that? I mean, did you know that you're going? What did you think? You said, "Oh, maybe I'll see him again in a week or a few weeks,
no,
a short time." What did
I
you
knew
think?
it. I knew it that I will not see him again. I feel it in deep in my heart that I will not see him, and I was crying and yelling, "Oh, my father, I will not see you again." And I wanted in one time to how it's in English, to go out from that trunk, because I knew it that I will not see my father again. And when that trunk started to go, I was on the back, and I saw my father. He's running for that truck, and he was crying and taking his hair from his head, and it was very terrible for me. And I and my sister and mom, we were crying, and I was telling to my mom, please leave me. I want to go out from this trunk. She didn't leave me. And yeah.
But you said at that point you knew you're not going to see your father again. But now, of course, you know you are going to see him again, and he is waiting for you in Jannah.
Yeah, inshallah.
And your family will be together again. And as Muslims, we know that already. So he's waiting for you.
Inshallah.
He's got his house ready. So then when you see him again, then you can tell him your stories and what you did with your life since that moment, since you left him.
Inshallah, it will be like that. May Allah
it will be like that for sure.
Yeah,
Inshallah. So you went with your mum and your sister. You went and you went to Tuzla. So Tuzla is a big city in the Muslim area towards the north of Bosnia. And you went to tell us what happened in Tuzla then. You just went to a refugee center, you stayed there. If you want a few minutes, we can...
Yeah, it's okay. So when we were in those trucks, we get to the border between Serbs and our side, Bosniak side. And I have to tell you this. When we came there, one Chetnik with gun came on that trunk, and he asked, "Do you have money? Do you have gold or silver? Do you have something in your packets? Give that to us. If you not give us, we will kill you all." And women immediately started to take that gold and money and give it to him. And when we passed that, I knew that we are now safe. But people from Bratunac, that is a city near to Srebrenica, they hitting us with stones because those truck didn't have this
open back.
It was open back. Yeah. And they were hitting us with stones and hot water. They are putting on that trunk. I remember one woman was hit by stone with big blood on her head. And when it came to Tuzla, I thought that it will be better days for us, but it wasn't really. It wasn't, because in Tuzla also it was a war and it was aggression. Shells again started to fall down, and I was asking myself, what is this now? Because this isn't a safe territory, and we didn't also have anything to eat. We have to go on the doors of those people that they are already there, and we ask them for food, and it was a difficult time really, and it for 2 years it was very, very hard.
Let me ask you a question. So you came through Bratunac, and I've been there. I went there last year.
Yeah.
And there's a primary school there, which during the war was a concentration and execution center. It was like a prison. I went there last year. We went to that small school. It's just an ordinary primary school now, but in that same school, they killed hundreds of Muslims there.
Yeah.
So why do you think? So you said you went there and they threw stones and hot water, and they're probably swearing and saying bad things.
Yes.
Why do you think the Serbs, they had so much hatred towards you? Like, did you or your family or the people of your village or Srebrenica, did you ever do anything to those people?
We didn't really. We were civilians. I don't know. We didn't understand that hatred, and even now we cannot understand that. But I don't know. You have to know that this is not first genocide in Srebrenica in Bosnia.
Yes.
Completely, it's 11th genocide really, as we counting. Genocide happened in World War II, World War I, and during the centuries really.
Yes.
That it can be from.
I think we've lost your connection.
Here, I'm here.
Yes, okay. You're saying that it happened through centuries because the Serbs, they never accepted the Bosnians as Muslims. They always called you Turk, isn't it?
Yes.
They always said you are Turks, even though you are same race as them.
Yes.
But they said that you are Turks. They always called the Muslims, they called them Turks. They never accepted that they are that they are that you are the same
So
people as them.
yeah.
So you stayed in Tuzla for the next 2 years then?
We stayed in one small village near Tuzla, near another city called Lukavac, and we stayed there 2 years, and we were hoping that our father and grandfathers will come, but that's never happened. And when came July 1995, we were more hoping, because we knew that people that our father and uncles, they left Srebrenica and they want to go to Tuzla, but they didn't come. And even years after, we were full of hope, and until 2006 or 2005, when we get a call from ICMP, and they said we find bones of your father, and do you want to bury him this year in Srebrenica? And they say it isn't complete skeleton, it's only few bones. And we said we don't want to bury right now. We will wait. And we were waiting about 5 or 6 years more, and in 2012 we buried him and his two brother in Potocari Memorial Center.
So they found these, just to give to the audience, I'm just going to give them a little bit of background. So in the July of 1995, there's a number of things happen. I'm not going to go to it in detail because there's a documentary, and we're going to share the link that you can watch. It's called Cry from the Grave. Srebrenica, A Cry from the Grave. It is, in my opinion, it is the best documentary about what happened. And so that will tell you the whole story. But basically, July 1995, the Bosnian Serbs, the Chetniks, they surrounded Srebrenica, and the United Nations was there, and there was like a standoff between the United Nations and the Serbs. And then General Mladic came, and all the refugees, then they left Srebrenica and they went to Potocari. Potocari is maybe 1 or 2 kilometers away from Srebrenica. They went to the United Nations base, which was United Nations Dutch soldiers. And at that point, General Mladic, he said that, so they already started killing in front of the UN soldiers. They started killing women, children, men. And at that point, then Mladic said that the women and children will be allowed to go on buses, and they will be allowed to go to Tuzla or wherever. And but we're not going to harm the men. So the women and children, they got on the buses and they went to Tuzla, but the men, they remained behind. Many of them were killed there in Potocari and Srebrenica and the villages nearby, and the rest of them, they began what is known as the Death March. Is it 63 kilometers? Is it?
No, it's more than 100 kilometers.
More than 100 kilometers. And that summer, it was not just hot, it was very, very hot that summer. It was extremely hot. And this column of men, of thousands of Muslim men and boys, they marched, they left Srebrenica, and they marched through the forests, and they were trying to go to Tuzla. And along the way, the Serbs were sending shells on them, shooting them, chasing them with death squads. And many of them, they did not even make it to, many of them did not even make it to Tuzla. The final figure, they say 8,372, but the number is more than that. The number is bigger than that, is more than that. So your father and uncles, they were somewhere along the, so they found their bones in the forest or somewhere. Where did they find them? Do you know?
My father and uncles, they were killed in one Serbs village called Kravica, and there is one video on YouTube when they are surrendering to Chetniks, and I know that they are killed in those big buildings in Kravica, and they were buried in 3 secondary mass graves, really, and that's the.
So until 2005, so for 10 years, you still had hope.
Yeah.
Maybe they went to some village, maybe they're lost, maybe they're living in the forest and they don't know the war is finished. Maybe they're in prison somewhere, maybe somehow they will come back. But when they told you, when that news, they came to you and they told you that we found, you know, how did you take that news? What was your...
I was in college in Sarajevo, and when I hear that news, that killed me really emotionally, and I was crying maybe for days, and because my hope didn't exist anymore really, and I didn't want to accept that really, because there is still a hope, and as you said, we hope that they are somewhere. They are somewhere, I don't know. They left Bosnia. They went to United States. They went to, I don't know, somewhere, but that didn't happen. They were killed, and I accept that maybe years after, when we buried them, and still I didn't really 100% accept that really, because I don't know, it's like that. When I didn't see his bones, I didn't see his body dead, there is still hope. But as you said, we will meet each other. We will meet with all good people in Jannah, inshallah.
When you meet your father again, what do you want to say to him? What are you going to say to him when you meet him again?
I meet him in dreams a lot, and in my dreams I want to help him to go on the way to be free, to go to Tuzla, and in every dream I want to help him to get to Tuzla. Really, that's my wish, and in my dream, and every time I dream a lot about that, and every time I woke up with tears in my eyes, and with I'm so sad when I'm dreaming that, and I don't know, I will just look at him and looking him for years, maybe, because my eyes are missing him really, and just want to be close to him, nothing else. And inshallah, I hope that will happen.
It will happen, inshallah.
Inshallah, yeah.
On the day of judgment, you will also meet the person or the people who killed your father and your uncles and your grandfathers and your cousins. You're going to meet them as well.
Yeah.
What will you say to them?
I wrote about that. I wrote on my blog on Al Jazeera one part about that, and it was about, I don't want to discuss any word with them, because I know that God will judge them. I know that God will punish them. I don't want to waste my time with them. I immediately want to go to Jannah to see my uncles and my father, and I leave them with justice, with God's justice to give them what they deserve. Nothing else. That's my duas. That's my wishes, and nothing else. Really, I don't. I will not lose any minute with them because they are not. They are not. They are not. How can I say that in English? They are not. I will not. I will not.
They're not worth. They are not worth your time.
Yeah, they are not worth. They are not worth. Really, yeah.
When now, it has now been 25 years since the end. Well, the end of that particular conflict, since that particular genocide that happened in July 95. It has now, and even though it's been 25 years since that incident, they are still finding bones. Was it today? I think I saw you put a tweet. Was it today that they did some more burials today, or
Yeah.
this week? They did some more burials today. They buried some more people. So this thing for everyone else in the world, all the politicians, United Nations, Colonel Currymans, and all those Dutch people, all of them, their retirement, they're with their grandchildren, they're getting on with their lives. But it's not over. For the people of Srebrenica, for thousands of people, it's not over. It's not, it's still continuing. The genocide has not finished. It's still continuing until even today, and it will continue until they find all of the people. So this is still continuing. Looking back now, so I'm going to sort of round up now. We could speak all night, but we're going to we're going to round up so we can have a break, and then we can ask some questions from I'm sure the audience they want to ask you some things. You are an imam in Srebrenica. You are father of 4 children. You are imam of a community. You and your family and your community have been through so much pain and so much loss in your life. At this moment in your life, what is your hopes for the future? What are your hopes for what do you want to do in the world while you have life?
When I returned to Srebrenica in 2014, I was afraid to speak about what happened to me, to my family, and because there are still people that deny everything. And there are still people that are saying that nothing happened in Srebrenica. And there are those narratives that they are taking place. They are taking place in Bosnia, in Balkans, and even in Europe, really. But we have to speak true, because true will win everything. True is very strong, and we have to speak that. True will defeat everything, every denial, every fake news, everything else. And because of that, I'm very happy that I can talk with you, with people that they are listening right now. And that's our victory, really. And we have to speak more. Every victim have to speak more. But those victims, we are afraid to speak about what happened to us. I have to tell. I have to see that Europe, people in Europe, and United Nations and NATO, they have to put some laws about denial, to punish them, to they are proud of their evil. They are proud of the General Mladic, and nothing happens. Nothing happens.
I want to share another story with you, and I know this video is going to go in public, so whatever I'm saying, it's all in the public. General Mladic, and this story I'm going to tell you now, you don't know this story. General Mladić was the general of the Bosnian Serbs who entered Srebrenica. His second in command, the man in charge of the 4th Drina Corps, was a man by the name of General Radislav Krstic. When you see the videos, when Mladić is coming in, walking in to Srebrenica, there's a guy next to him. When Mladić is sitting in the room and he's having the discussion and he's telling the translator that Allah cannot save you and only Mladić can save you, there's a man next to Mladić who is smoking. He has like silver hair. That is Krstic. Krstic was found guilty of aiding and abetting genocide in The Hague, in the International Criminal Court of Hague. And they have the agreement that after they are convicted in The Hague, they send them to different countries to be to serve their prison sentence. So one might go to Austria, one might go to Germany, one might go to Spain, one might go to France. Krstic was sent to England. So I was in prison in England at the time, at a different prison. And Krstic, they sent him to a prison, which is, they send people there for their own protection because they are child molesters and they are rapists and pedophiles, and there are people like that. So their life is at risk, so they send them to that prison. So one day, I think it was in 2009 or 2010, 3 Muslim prisoners, one was Albanian, one was Nigerian, and one was like black Caribbean convert. And they are prisoners, they are criminals, they are serving time, they have done crimes in their life. And I knew, I mean, I met all of them, but 2 of them I knew before this incident happened, because I'd met them in another prison. They entered Kristic's cell, and 2 of them grabbed him, and the other one, he tried to cut his neck. They cut him, but they missed his the jugular. So the officers, they came into the cell and they found him unconscious in the cell. So these 3 Muslim brothers were then they were arrested and they put them on trial. And Krstic, they put him on this special prison regime where he is not allowed to mix with any other prisoner, because they thought his life is at risk from anyone.
Yeah.
And they brought him to the prison where I was. So I was with other detainees. We were held without trial. I was held without trial in England for 8 years. And we were 7 Muslim detainees, and there was 1 cell above the detainee unit. And for 6 months, they brought Krstic, and he stayed there in that thing by himself. He could not mix with anyone. He was so scared, he would never come to the window. He would never come to the, and I remember like 1 or 2 of like there was one of the brothers there, he tried to he would call him, okay? And he would never come to the window, not even once. And he stayed there for about 6 months. And then after that, we don't know, they moved him to another prison or another country or something like that. So those 3 Muslim brothers, they were put on trial for attempted murder and wounding him. And at the end of their trial, the jury found them not guilty of attempted murder. But they said that you did hurt him, so we're going to give you some extra years. The reason being, and the judge said to them that, I know what you did to this man and why you did it, because of what this man did to your fellow Muslims. He said, I understand what you did, and because of what this man he did, but we have to follow the law, and you cannot take the law into your own hands and whatever.
Yes,
so he gave them some extra time or whatever. So that time that Krstic spent in prison, I'm telling you about 2011, 2012, that sort of period, I'm telling you. He was there for about 6 months. He was I would say maybe, and he's on the floor just above. He's maybe 10 feet, 3 meters away from where I am, because in our garden, his cell was just there. And he spent a very difficult time he spent in prison. I think he's been released now. He's a hero and he comes back, but you know his time will his time will you know his time will come. There's more
Yes, 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 inshallah.
So what I want to ask you is, what can people do for the people of Srebrenica today? What can we are listening. We have you know people that are the audience. We are listening. They are in other countries. I mean, tell me some things that we can do for the people of Srebrenica.
For example, the basic, you have to know what happened. You have to see videos, as you said in the beginning. You have to see what happened here, how many people were killed, how many destroyed families, destroyed futures, how many women was raped, and you have to know that story. That story happened in Europe in the end of 20th century. Maybe someone didn't know that, but that happened really. A lot of crimes, war crimes, were committed here on all Bosnia, in all Bosnia, really. That happened in Prijedor, in Foča, in Visegrad, in Kozarac, in almost everywhere.
Yes.
And people has to know that, and people have to speak true to everyone about that, because everything what happened in Bosnia and in Srebrenica happened because of hating, and because of prediction, because of someone didn't know you well. You know, that's I think that nothing else was reason for killing, just hate. You don't hate anyone, really. That's our faith. That's Islam. That's every faith in the world. Don't hate, because from hate will come this everything else that isn't good. Yeah.
As I mentioned before, that last year I visited Bosnia for the first time since the war, like 20 years or something. But Srebrenica was the first time I went there. And to the audience that is listening, if there's two things that you must do, the first one, you must watch this documentary. You must watch this documentary. And it's called Srebrenica, A Cry from the Grave. And they're going to put the link, if someone, one of the admin, if you can please put the link to this documentary. Here's the link. He just put it up on Facebook. They'll also share it on the page where these links were. You must watch this documentary. You must, you know, that is one thing. And show your family. Show your family, show your elder children,
Friends,
really small children. But, you know, if they're like teenagers, 14, you know, 15 above, show them, because this happened before their lifetime. They must know what happened. If you see the Jewish community and how many movies and books and everything they've written about the Holocaust and about Auschwitz, so this is part of our history. You know, this is part of our history, and the only way to stop history repeating itself, you must know what happened in the first place. So you must watch this video. And the second thing that I would encourage everyone is you must visit Srebrenica.
Yeah.
You must go there and see for yourself. You've heard Imam Ahmed, you know, there's no way to explain. And last year, when I went with my 3 teenage nephews and my brother-in-law, we drove from London to Bosnia, 3,500 miles. We drove all the way to Srebrenica. We had fun as well. We went through the European countries, but we went through Germany, and in Germany, we visited a concentration camp, Dachau concentration camp in the south of Germany. And that happened that happened 70 years ago, 80 years ago. And still the way they've created like you can still see like places, there's still a few bullet holes, but it's sort of like professionally has been done. But Srebrenica, this memorial center in Potocari, like it's like you can feel the death that is in the air. You can see the bullet holes, you can see them on the floor, you can see the bullet holes on the floor, you can see like you can just there's dirt on the window, there's it's like it hasn't been like made nice into something. It is just as it is. You must go there and you must see for yourself, and you must visit the memorial center and just spend some time looking at the videos. That is something. Jews from all over the world, they go to Auschwitz. They go to Auschwitz at least once in their life. And if there's anyone looking from this audience, whenever coronavirus is over, this year, next year, after that, okay, like you go on Hajj and Umrah, you must put in your mind that I have to visit Bosnia and I have to visit Srebrenica. For the young kids who maybe they're not into that history or whatever, there's one thing good in Srebrenica other than the memorial center. For the fun part, they have a very good restaurant that has very good cevapi. We went there as well. So cevapi is a special Bosnian dish and it's all halal. You don't have to worry about that. But seriously, I recommend every Muslim, you must go to Bosnia, go to Sarajevo, the history of the Museum of War Crimes Against Humanity, go to Mostar, go to all of these places, and you must visit Srebrenica. And that is, by spreading this knowledge, that is how we stop something like this happening again. So Imam Ahmed, before we take a break and we invite some questions from the audience, I want to ask you is how, what is like a final message you want to say to the audience, to the people that are listening, that are listening here?
Yeah, that final message: be good Muslim wherever you are, and to be good Muslim, you have to know, you have to teach, you have to research, you have to know yourself in the beginning, and after you teach about yourself, about your religion, about your tradition, then you have to, as you said, you have to come to Srebrenica. I'm here. If you want to visit Srebrenica, there is my number. Brother Ahmed Babar had it, and he can give you my number. You can come here. I will help you with everything here. It's safe, really. Don't worry about it. Maybe someone is worried that wars didn't finish here yet. There is people that they are coming and asking, is here safe? I said it is. It will be safer if more people are coming, really, and that's my point. Just be yourself, be good Muslims wherever you are, be good men, and be good boys and girls. Be afraid of Allah, no one else, really, and then you will be best human on the world.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, Imam Ahmed. So while you have a glass of water, you can drink. So what?
Yeah.
We just want to, we're not gonna. Imam Ahmed has had a very busy day today, so we're not gonna take it too long. But if there's any questions, if you are on Facebook, you can write your question in the comment, and if you are listening on YouTube, then you can ask your questions there in the comment section. So I'm just going to. Look, there will be a recording of this video that will stay, and we will be able to, we will share that link. We have people listening here from Saudi Arabia, from America, from Ireland. May Allah...
I'll go to take a glass of water, please.
Yeah, of course, yeah. May Allah give justice in the dunya and the akhirah. Yes. Okay. Does it not worry you that the history will repeat itself again? Okay, that's a question that I can ask. I can ask Imam Ahmed. I visited Sarajevo. Is the documentary the same that they show in the gallery museum? No. this documentary. So Aziz Hussein asked a question. No, this is a different documentary. You must visit Srebrenica. A question, Imam Ahmed, someone asked, what is life like now for you living with the Serbs, the Chetniks? Is there still a hatred of the Muslims? One thing that is different about what happened in Bosnia compared to what happened in this World War II with the Holocaust to the Jews is after the Holocaust, Germany, they apologized, they put the people on trial, they sent them to, well, they executed them. Even now, 109 years old, 105 years old, they will find a guard who was a concentration camp guard living in California, and they caught him and extradited him. They are still finding people. Never again, they said. But with Bosnia, the people who did these things, they're just living. I maybe saw them when we drove through Bratunac.
Yes, yes.
Anyone who's maybe in his 40s, we saw like the Serbs, they're just sitting there drinking in the cafe. Maybe he took part in the war. They walk down the street. They you know, that the hatred is still there. They have still taken out some of the people from their houses. So is there still a hatred of the Muslims? I mean, or is it that the Serbs, they now realize that they did something wrong and they're trying to correct that with the new generation? Or is there a sense that no, what tell us a little bit about this?
Now in Srebrenica, we had, as we can say, that we had good relation with Serbs. We speak with them, we say hello to them because they are our neighbors.
Yeah.
Islam teaches us that we have to be nice to everyone, and we Bosniaks, we are like that. And we don't know who was in war, who committed crimes, but big problem is that institutions and governments in Bosnia didn't do a lot about that. They just put in prison, maybe, I don't know how much people, but that's few people,
100,
really.
maybe not more.
Yeah. That's 200 people cannot committed genocide, But I don't know, really. It's hard to explain. We have good connections with people that they didn't committed crime, but sometimes, as you said, we met people that we knew, and we know it that maybe he was on in their army, and he committed crimes, and he was shooting on innocent people and prisoners. And government didn't do a lot about that, and I don't know, maybe sometimes, and maybe it will happen that every guy that was committing genocide will be in prison. I hope so that that will happen. But as I said, we have a problem with institution of Republika Srpska is doing a bad thing, and they are proud of their history, of what they did here in Srebrenica, in whole Bosnia, and nobody is there. Even these United Nations and people from Europe, they didn't do a lot about that, really. And
but as you know, history it changes. We don't know, and like I said, 70 years on, they're bringing people to justice from the Holocaust, from the time. So we don't know what will happen in 10, 20, 30 years time. And as Muslims, we believe even if they die without having faced justice in this world, the real justice, the victims are waiting for them. They have to face them. And
real justice is there, on another world.
They have to do that. So there's another question here. Is the Muslim youth, the young people in Bosnia, the young Muslim people in Bosnia, are they proud of their Muslim identity? Is there, because I understand under Tito, it was Islam was different, but after the war, is there more Bosnian people you're seeing now? You're a young Imam yourself. Are you seeing now they are more proud of their Muslim identity?
All young people are so proud of our identity and our. They are so proud on their faith, their tradition, and their fight against this evil. We are so proud about our on our flag with Liliums. Our old flag. We love that flag very much, and we every Muslim boy and girl have that flag in their homes. We are proud. We are proud on our fight. We are proud that we didn't that they didn't kill us all, because we were without guns, without everything, and we are now here. There is 52% of Bosniaks in Bosnia right now. That's our victory.
One thing I want to mention, which someone has mentioned, but there's been one or two questions on that topic as well, is during the war there was Muslim volunteer fighters. They came to Bosnia from all over the world, different countries. I mean, I myself, I went there. These people came from England, from Saudi Arabia, Japan, Brazil, Paraguay, South Africa. These are people I met myself that had come there. And they played a major, I wouldn't say major, but they played a role in some areas in which, if it wasn't for the help that they gave, then the genocide, it would have been worse in those particular areas and villages. Now, today, because of ISIS, people are sort of afraid to talk about that, because they say if you talk about them, then it's you're like supporting ISIS. You know, even though it's a different, there's 25 years apart, it's a different. So one of the difficult things is, you know, for to be able to recognize that, because one of the hard things when people, they try to look at history from the lens of today, that when you say the term jihad, they say, oh, jihad is ISIS. But at the time when and I understand that the Bosnian Muslims, they also had, you know, they would say takbir. And I remember when we used to go there, this was a very common thing. They felt that by defending their homes, you know, this is the best form of the you know, of the jihad, to defend your homes and your people. So I just wanted to say that, I mean, I'm not sure because when I visited Bosnia and I met some Bosnians last year, and they felt that there was some sections of maybe like secular, or maybe some parts they wanted to try and say, oh, it's all part of war on terror and Al-Qaeda and ISIS, but they don't want to say the role that and I remember that Ali Begovic, he said that during the war, when they told him that you have to kick all the foreign fighters, you have to kick them out of your country, he said, I'm not going to do that. He said, because when United Nations abandoned us, when Europe abandoned us, when the whole world abandoned us, these people, they came to help us, and now you want me to kick them out? He said, I'm not going to
Yes.
I'm not going to do that. Is there anything you want to say about that, or anything? I mean, you're aware, or I mean, obviously you went during the war, you were a boy yourself, but you're Imam now. Maybe you heard about it, or is anything you know about that, or you can share?
Yeah, as we have help from another countries, also Serbs have help from another countries, from Russia, from Greece, from I don't know, from even Canada, Australia, and really it was a hard time. And to speak about that from this time, it's very hard, because you don't know a lot. You didn't be there, and alhamdulillah, we are now here. We have good opportunity to make better country for our kids, but we have to face with true everyone, even we Bosniaks and Muslims have to face with true and especially Serbs and their institutions, that they are committed genocide and war crimes, and Europe and the world has to face with justice to take those crimes to court, and when that happens, maybe we will start to make better future for our kids.
Yes, thank you, Imam. So what I'm going to do, and yes, we got some, some more comments here where people they're talking about, I think we should have regular tours to Bosnia so no one forgets what happened there. The personal stories need to be shared. That's something that we have tried to do through this, interview, which Imam Ahmed has very kindly given us his time for. So I want to end it now because I know it's nearly midnight and you've had a very long
no
day.
problem. I'm here for any questions still.
You've had a very long day, and it's very late for you. So I just wanted to thank you for your time and for giving us this opportunity. And I also wanted to, say that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, He's given you a lot of patience and strength to be able to talk about things that are very painful. And the thing is that when we talk about painful things, then there is also a release. It is painful, but there is a release, and we do get support. And I know if all these comments you can read afterwards, I'll send you the link. The du'as that people have made for you and your family, and the du'as, the sympathy, the support, the love.
Bless you all,
that is one of the great things about the brotherhood of the Islamic Brotherhood. Someone is asking, does the Imam have a Facebook page? Are you on Facebook? I know you're on Twitter.
I have Facebook. I have Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, everything.
Okay, he's mashallah, he's modern Imam, huh? So he's got everything, and you can just Google Imam. You've got his name on you can see at the bottom of the screen, so you can Google him. And I know he's done many interviews. He does a lot of work. That's why we're honored that he was able to come with us. And again, please watch this video, and please
come to Srebrenica.
As the COVID is over, please go with your family, and you must go and you must visit Srebrenica. You must see it for yourself. I cannot emphasize it enough. If Europe, it's not that difficult, it's not expensive, everywhere's halal, you'll have a good holiday. There's a lot of good things to do there. When I went last year, I saw a lot of visitors to Bosnia from the Arab countries, from Saudi Arabia, from Kuwait, from these countries, but not that many from European countries. So we need more people to go from the European countries.
You are welcome here anytime.
To do that. So I want to finish here then, and I just want to thank you again, Imam Ahmed. All the loss that you suffered, your father, your grandfathers, your uncles, you will meet them again. They are safe now. They are happy. They are being taken care of, and they will be proud of you. Your father will be proud of you when you meet him again and you tell him what you did, and despite the pain, you try to make something positive come out of it, because we cannot change the past. But we can change the future.
That's right.
By doing, something what you're doing, by talking about things that are personally, difficult for you, and the loss that is there for you, then this is how we make, our ummah great, and this is how we make the world a better place for all of us. So any last words? I want you to have the last words.
I'm very happy that I can share my story with you, with all good people, really. And as you said, I feel released right now after I was talking about that. And every time I feel better and better. And really, thank you very much for opportunity to speak with you you are very nice guy. You are brother.
You don't know me. You
Because
just know the person. There's two people. There's the me and there's the personality. So people online, all of these people, they just know the personality. They don't know the person.
Yeah.
So it's good to have two people.
I have a feeling that we know each other for years.
Alhamdulillah. You know, I say to people that Bosnia is a part of me. Now, people, they say that,
Thank you very
but for
much.
me, it's a part of me because in the war, I received injuries, and some of the metal fragments from the war, it's inside my body. It's part of my body, and some of my blood is in Bosnia somewhere.
Yeah.
So when I say that Bosnia is a part of me, then it's not just an expression. It's something that you know. I have friends that were buried there. You know, I have friends that were buried there. When I went last year, I went to their graves. So it's, for me, it's not just a war or something that happened. It is something that is you know, that is very close to my heart. And you know, please, all of the people that are watching this, you must make that intention. Take your families. It's completely safe. You can go by coach tours from Sarajevo. You can hire a car. You can go yourself. You know, it's completely safe to go there.
Yeah.
But please make that intention to go there. So Imam Ahmed, thank you very much. You go and have a good night now, and
Thank you.
you know, we will keep in touch. And this a recording of this is going to go it's going to be put online, and we hope people will be continue to be able to benefit from this. We hope this was beneficial for you as well, and we hope that you feel better after having spoken about some of these.
Yeah, I feel better really. Thank you very much. Thanks to all that are watching right now. Big salam from Srebrenica to all of you. Best regards. And I'm here really to help you to visit Srebrenica anytime. Please come. We will be here together. A small city. Everyone knows everyone, and every visitors are welcome here.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, thank you, Imam. Then have a good night.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Okay. Wa alaikum salam. Salam.